Fire officials are observing Fire Safety Week on a high note. Fire statistics are down significantly for 2012. Last year, this time, there were already 14 fire-related deaths on record in New Providence alone. Now officials are attributing the decrease in casualties to an aggressive fire safety campaign they hope will continue to keep the numbers down. Andrew Knowles has more on their efforts and pledges to improve the resources that'll help them achieve that goal.
Byron Musgrove and D'Angelo Russell saved several lives back in January of this year after rescuing residents from a house fire in Black Village. And on Monday morning, they were rewarded for their efforts during the launch of Fire Safety Awareness Week at the Mullet Marathon.
It was definitely a nerve-wracking experience, something that I will never forget. And for me, it was just to try and get everybody to safety as quickly as I could.
The only thing was getting everybody out of the house and making sure that everyone and everything else was safe.
And because of their heroic efforts, along with an aggressive campaign by the Fire Services Department to educate the public on fire safety, State Minister for National Security Senator Keith Bell announced that statistics show a notable reduction.
To date, unfortunately, there were 2 lives which were lost in 2012 compared to 12 in 2011. This year, 12 persons suffered injuries compared to 29 persons for the same period in 2011. Property losses for 2012 are estimated at $5,106,000 compared to $28,189,000 in 2011.
While the fire department has done its best over the years to serve the public using a small fleet of fire engines, Minister Bell revealed this morning that more help is on the way as the government hopes to acquire some more fire engines.
The government has made provisions during this fiscal period for the acquisition of 5 new fire trucks before the end of February 2013. These include 4 pumpers and 1 tanker. 3 of the units are earmarked for New Providence, and 2 units will be posted in Grand Bahama.
As for the construction of a new fire station in Grand Bahama, Minister Bell says it is something this present administration will see through. The former government earmarked $1 million to build a new state-of-the-art facility.
At this stage, what we can say is they will get a new fire station. The cost, we're reviewing the cost of it. But again, that isn't the factor. It isn't going to be the overriding factor to determine what it is that they're going to build. It is what they actually need will determine the cost.
And with more than 18% of the fire services staff expected to retire from active duty within the next 5 years, Minister Bell says more fire officers will be recruited this fiscal period. Andrew Knowles, ZNS News Network.
It's been increasingly challenging for countries like the Bahamas to acquire funding for research and other issues of national importance. To that end, the U.S. Embassy and Bahamian government officials hosted a Global Environmental Facility, or GEF, small grants workshop for stakeholders. The intent is to help them develop compelling grant proposals. The workshop was held at the College of the Bahamas Library, and Housing Minister Ken Dorset is already looking for ways that the government can benefit.
Commission, under the able leadership of Mr. Philip Weish and my ministry, has undertook a national portfolio formulation exercise to identify projects to access these resources. My government is now considering a paper to advance this by focusing on the use of forestry and non-pine forestry products to further develop sustainable livelihoods in our communities. This is indeed an exciting time in our national efforts.
Chargé d'Affaires for the U.S. Embassy, Mr. John Dinkelman, says the workshop plays an important role in the future of national development, and the U.S. is already on board.
This workshop recognizes the need to continue to build technical capacity in this important sector of your society. In the Embassy's consultations with Bahamian civil society members, we have been informed that there is a need for developing stronger grant management skills, and that there is a need for understanding as to how to better develop strategic plans. We have also learned that there is a need for improving monitoring and evaluation practices. Through the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, otherwise known as PEPFAR, the United States is already beginning to provide training opportunities to build the technical capacity of targeted NGOs working in the HIV/AIDS community here in the Bahamas. The embassy also works directly with civil society umbrella organizations, such as Civil Society Bahamas and One Eleuthera, to provide hands-on training opportunities for NGOs both on New Providence and on the Family Islands.
Plans are well underway for the 2012-2013 Junkanoo parades. Committee members of the national event revealed detailed plans this morning during a press conference at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Now, this time around, the Junkanoo Committee is promising quite a showdown starting from as early as November 29th. The plans include the 12 Days of Christmas, a church service, community bands showcase, Junkanoo Legends Circle Awards, Miss Bahamas Junkanoo, a Junkanoo King concert, song competition, T-shirt day, and a logo contest for the 12 Days of Christmas. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Daniel Johnson says residents can look forward to a renaissance of the Bahamian Cultural Fest.
We're now going to move from a one-night event on Boxing Day and New Year's to a series of events that will last from the from the end of November, actually from the 29th of November until the 1st of January. So you really now move from Junkanoo being an event to now Junkanoo being a festive season scenario. And so this is a major step forward for us in bringing culture to where it should be, front and center stage. It also is a huge economic opportunity for people involved in arts and culture, because obviously this allows us now 12 different occasions for vendors, for T-shirt guys, for the people in the creative arts, visual arts, people who build whistles, cowbells, build packages for kids, to actually prepare things that can be sold, that can be marketed. It also allows us to get back involved with all our numerous corporate sponsors.
Now, in the midst of these activities, Lee Junkanoo costume pieces are expected to be completed and ready for judging on December 22nd in advance of the Boxing and New Year's Day parades. The event is scheduled to take place at the National Stadium.
People must expect, when you do come to the stadium, expect a small fee, because it's a maintenance fee. It's just so we set up and clean up during the course of these events. But we're wanting to start a lot of our events a little earlier during the season for said reason, so you can bring out your families. And of course, in the stadium we don't have the problems you have downtown of points of entry, parking, lighting, safety standards, and seating.
Co-chairs for the overall Junkanoo Committee, George Bethel and William Wallace, say events will focus on providing an atmosphere which is fun-filled and family-oriented. A website will also be launched to provide details on Junkanoo activities. Some 70 public service human resource managers participated in a one-day workshop at the Police Conference Center today to share ideas and express concerns about enhancing the public service and its personnel. Several presenters facilitated the sessions, which covered various aspects of human resources. Acting Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Labor, which also covers the Department of Public Service, Elizabeth Gardner-Keju, outlined the conference's objectives.
We hope we can challenge them. And then secondly, we hope we can convey to them that we have their backs, that we're there to support them, to help them, to equip them to do what they need to do. I believe personally as a philosophy that what gets measured gets done. I believe in evidence-based decision making. So one of the things we're doing is we're encouraging them, or we are mandating that they put in place systems to have available the information that's needed to make the decisions. We need to know exactly who's in the public service. We need to know when they came. If they're in contract, we need to know when your contract started and when it's going to end. We want to make sure that when you're supposed to get paid, you get paid. We want things to be done in a professional manner.